We're joined today by Sion Simon, the new Creative Industries Minister at the Department for Culture, Media and Sport. Just done a fascinating open road breakfast. Sion, how do you feel after the extraordinary ups and downs within the Labour Party of recent days?
I feel really glad that the ups and downs are over and we're back on an even keel. The leadership business is settled and sorted now. We've got a new government united behind the Prime Minister, and we've got a year or so to tell the people what it is that Labour's been doing for them for 12 years and what we can do for them over the next 5.
How are you going to try and recover the lost ground? You've had enormous problems in the recent elections with some very poor performances. How are you going to try and recover and seek a victory next May or June?
The only thing that Labour can do now is continue to govern well as it has been. It's not a very fashionable thing to say, but Labour has transformed this country over the last 12 years, and it's easy to forget, the achievements are easy to neglect, but that's all that we can stand on. All we can stand on is our record of what we've achieved and our promise to go further and do more and achieve more. And there remains so much yet to do, as there always will in government. It's never over. You never get to a finish. It just goes on and on and on. And you have to promise people more better public services, more choice, more access to real meaningful decisions that affect their own lives for ordinary people. That's what we've given people, and we have to show people that we can give them more. And people take a lot of convincing.
Are the plots over now, or will we see it resurge in the autumn around party conference or around the next bout of unpopularity for the Prime Minister?
I think it's over. I can't believe there are people in the Labour Party who want any more of what we've had over the last week. The point has been made and the question has been settled. Gordon Brown is the leader and the Prime Minister, and will take us into the next election.
There's been a lot of talk recently about proportional representation. Where do you stand in that debate?
I don't understand how proportional representation is the answer to the expenses crisis. The expenses crisis is a crisis which needs to be dealt with and sorted and settled, and electoral systems are a valid topic for debate, and if we're to have a debate, then I shall join in very enthusiastically, but the two are not connected.
Can Cameron win? How do you think the Tories are positioned at the moment? A lot of the media are suggesting that it's going to be an easy walk for them. How do you see that?
Clearly, it's possible that the Conservatives can win. They've been ahead in many recent opinion polls, but they haven't been very far ahead. Certainly not compared to how far ahead Labour was in 1990 to 92, when we were consistently 25 points ahead in the polls for 2 years and still lost. So, no, the argument is not won by the Tories. People are not persuaded. At a time of such difficulty for Labour, at a time of such difficult economic conditions, the Tories should be far, far further ahead than they are, far more consistently than they are. The truth is that people are not convinced by Cameron. The truth is the Tories have an incoherent offering. What they're saying doesn't make sense, and people aren't daft. They know that. And even while they might feel rather tired and frustrated at times with Labour, an election in which so many millions of people turned to third parties, or non-traditional parties, tells you all you need to know about the failure of the Conservatives to break through.
What was it like for you as a sitting minister when things were looking very rocky and James Pennell resigned and a whole range of other cabinet resignations? Did you ever think that the Prime Minister might go down?
I never thought that he would go down. I was disappointed in what happened. I'm glad that it's all over, and I'm absolutely confident that the Prime Minister will now be able to return all his attentions to the business of leading the party and running the country.
And it must have been a very difficult weekend when you were wondering when you were going to get the call for whether you get a new job or no job or a different job. Or
it's always, it's always a little bit nerve-wracking, that sort of thing, but my position throughout was that it's all good. I mean, my previous job as FE Minister was fantastic. I greatly enjoyed it. It's a fantastic sector. Having now become Digital Creative Industries Minister in DCMS, that's it's a fabulously attractive department. I'm so looking forward to the challenge. And if I had been left out of the government and gone back to the backbenches to be the MP for Birmingham Erdington, that's a great honour and a great privilege too, and that would have been absolutely fine. So yes, it is a bit nerve-wracking, but it's a no-lose situation at the end of the day.
And on expenses, Parliament's taken a huge battering. Do you think that in fact it in the long term will be a good thing because it will be an end to practices that weren't right, or do you think that it's been a huge damage to democracy?
I think both. It's right that this should have been exposed to public view, if not necessarily in the way that it has. But it's always been a rotten system. It's always needed sorting out. It's always been a source of immense frustration to very many MPs. So it will be a great relief that this finally gets sorted out. I've always said the whole system should just have been scrapped and done away with. But whatever result it is, the fact that we're going to have an independent adjudicator coming up with a system and we're just going to stick to it, that's got to be the best way. And does it damage democracy? It damages democracy in the extent to which it further erodes people's faith in politicians and therefore in politics and the democratic process. But on the other hand, that is part of the democratic process. It's an organism, and that's how it works. And so, in that sense, I don't think it does anything fatal or unrecoverable to the democratic process.
Sion, thank you so much for being with us. Sion Simon, the Minister for the Creative Industries in DCMS. Thank you very much.